The latest feature in Yandere Simulator is the ability to
Yandere Dev! Yandere Dev! Why are there weapons on the ground in front of a school?
This is a debug build of a game that is currently in development. I need easy access to weapons for testing purposes. You shouldn't expect anything to make logical sense in a debug build.
Okay, but Yandere Dev! Why is there an incinerator near the entrance of the school?
Like I said, this is a debug build. I put important things near the entrance of the school so I can test features quickly.
No! I'm asking, why is there an incinerator at a high school in the first place?
Oh, so that's what you're asking. Allow me to explain. In Japanese schools, after classes end, students must clean the school. Students clean the classrooms, stairwells, corridors, bathrooms, and everywhere else. Some Japanese schools have janitors, but other Japanese schools have no janitors whatsoever and leave all cleaning up to the students. In order to dispose of trash every day, some Japanese high schools have incinerators. Students dump trash into the incinerator at the end of every day. The school incinerator is usually located outside of the school, close to the field where the sports teams practice. If you don't believe me, watch an anime set in a high school. Episode 5 of Sket Dance involves an incinerator. Episode 3 of Bento involves an incinerator. The characters in Prison School sometimes have secret conversations near the school's incinerator. In fact, Yandere Simulator's incinerator is modeled after the one from Prison School.
So, where will the incinerator be located in the final game?
The answer to that question is not very simple. I believe that the most important aspect of a stealth game's design is that it needs to be fun and interesting to get from point A to point B. The player needs to be presented with multiple options. The act of choosing an option should be interesting, and each option should be fun and challenging. The incinerator is an extremely important gameplay mechanic because it allows the player to destroy evidence that would cause a game over. While the player is carrying a corpse towards the incinerator, they are in a very vulnerable state because being spotted by a student could get them into huge trouble. As a result, the location of the incinerator and the paths to the incinerator will be some of the most important aspects of the game's design. It's probably too early to say exactly where the incinerator will be, because it will depend on the final layout of the school and the routines of the school's students. I'd like to include at least 100 students in the game, and every one of them would have a daily routine that causes them to walk by places where they could witness the player doing something bad. The daily routines of students will effectively turn them into enemy guards who patrol designated areas, just like any other stealth game.
So, how easy will it be to access the incinerator in the final game?
That is something that I will have to balance many times over the course of the game's development in order to make sure that it's challenging, but not so challenging that it's not fun. Today, I've added a new feature that will make it much more challenging to access the incinerator: delinquents. Delinquents are different from other students. If you enter their cone of vision, they will turn their heads in your direction and keep an eye on you. If you walk too close, they will shove you away. Delinquents are armed with weapons. If a delinquent sees you carrying a weapon, they will prepare for a fight. If you lower your weapon, they will lower their weapon as well, while calling you a coward. Delinquents are ready for a fight 24 hours a day. You cannot take them by surprise. If you attempt to attack a delinquent, they'll give you a head injury that will put you in a coma. That's a game over. If a delinquent sees you carrying a corpse or a body part, they will instantly recognize you as a dangerous threat. They will presume that you're going to try to hurt them and will preemptively attack you. Delinquents hang out around the incinerator. If you try to drag a dead body to the incinerator area, the delinquents are going to notice you and attack you.
Is it possible to kill a delinquent?
Not yet. Fighting a delinquent is going to be different from fighting other characters. I'd like to have something similar to the melee combat from Hitman Absolution, a struggle where the player must react to button prompts. I don't have the necessary animations to implement this yet, so, for now, delinquents are invincible.
If delinquents are invincible, stand near the incinerator and attack you if you're moving a dead body. How will you ever be able to put a corpse in the incinerator?
The delinquents won't always stand near the incinerator. They will only stand near the incinerator at designated times every day. The delinquents are not fully implemented yet, so, for now, a countdown timer will appear near the incinerator so that you are aware of the points in time when you'd have to worry about the delinquents stopping you. Also, there will be a way to sneak corpses past the delinquents even when they are present. If you've been following Yandere Simulator's development for a really long time, you might remember this video from August 1st, 2014. In this video, I demonstrated that if you want to sneak a corpse past some schoolgirls, you can dismember the corpse, stuff the body parts into a guitar case, and carry the guitar case past the girls without them ever knowing that you were transporting a dead body past them. It took a long time, but this feature has finally returned to the game. If you join the Light Music Club, you will have access to a cello case that you can stuff a dismembered corpse into. It's also possible to use the cello case to transport a large weapon, such as a katana or a circular saw. If you walk past the delinquents while carrying a cello case, they will make snide remarks towards you, but you'll still be able to sneak a corpse past them.
Is it possible to sneak a corpse past the delinquents without using a cello case?
Yes, it is. Remember how I described cleaning time? Between 3:30 p.m. and 4 p.m., it's not considered suspicious to walk around school carrying a garbage bag or a trash can. You can dismember a corpse, stuff a body part into a trash can, and carry the trash can to the incinerator without the delinquents being suspicious of you.
It sounds really tedious to slowly dispose of body parts one by one.
Getting away with murder should not be easy. With that said, it should be fun, and if the methods for disposing of corpses are too time-consuming and players are sending me negative feedback, then I'll make adjustments to the process so that it's not so tedious. You know, this feature isn't in the game yet, but I think that if you put a body part into a garbage bag and leave it where you know a student will see it during cleaning time, that student should pick up the garbage bag, carry it to the incinerator, and destroy it for you. In other words, I think it should be possible to trick students into disposing of corpses for you by fooling them into thinking they're just disposing of trash. Where was I? Oh yeah, that's right, delinquents.
So, which one of these delinquents is the leader of the gang?
The leader of the delinquents is not in the game yet. But when she is added to the game, she will play an important role. The leader of the delinquents is the strongest student in school. She will not be present during the first half of the game. This is because she was suspended for something very serious. Shortly after returning to school, she will encounter Senpai and will begin to develop a bond with him. She will become your rival and will be one of the most challenging enemies in the game. One final note about delinquents. Because they are not fully implemented yet, it's currently not possible to speak with them. In the future, I think that delinquents should refuse to talk to you if your reputation is average or high. But if your reputation is low, I think that delinquents should see you as being one of them, and they should become willing to talk to you. By doing favors for delinquents and befriending them, perhaps you will unlock new ways to dispose of your rivals. But that's far in the future. Thank you for following the development of Yandere Simulator.